Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Rachel. I'm excited to have you as I have a lot of fun fall crafts on my table for today. The first one I am so excited about because we're going to make a cute pumpkin patch sign. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's just start with our wood base here. I have this wood frame from Hobby Lobby, and actually got quite a good deal on it. It was originally $13 and I only paid $3.24 for it. I don't think that they make this or they sell this sign anymore, but you most certainly can find a different wood frame to do this project, so no fear. And you most certainly can add these rustic I guess splotches around the frame. You just simply well, you would stain it and then just use your paintbrush and then add your paint to it. So something that I am just not good at doing, only because I try to find a pattern. So, and actually this one kind of has a little bit of pattern to it in my opinion, but we'll digress. So these pumpkins that I'm going to be adding to this sign here, these are actually from Michael's. And then I have some non-traditional cardstock that I'm going to be using for the pumpkins. So I say non-traditional because, you know, these are not really the cardstock book that I got them from. They're not a fall collection. They're I don't even know. They're just general patterns. But I thought this would be kind of cute to kind of offset it a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply our pattern paper to our pumpkin. So I'm going to push this aside because we don't need it right now. And I am going to use my Mod Podge to apply to the pumpkins, and then we're going to apply the paper to the pumpkins and then sand it off. So let's go ahead and add, and I just have a foam brush that I'm going to be using for this project. So first of all, I actually got to think about how I want to display my pumpkins as far as the stem is concerned. And I think I might do I want to do something like that? Yeah, I think that looks good. So I'm just trying to get what side I want to have. And then I know this is how I want to do it. So now I got to figure out, you know, what do I want as the front? What do I want as the back? I'm thinking, kind of wish I was live so I can get your guys' feedback. I think this should be good. And I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell, but this does have some foil on there, so it has a little bit of shimmer, and I'd like to offset that with these two. So I'll go ahead and, before I lose my order, I'm going to go ahead and apply some Mod Podge. And I want to be careful not to add too much to the pumpkin because we don't want to have too much on there because then it could wrinkle our paper. So I'm just evenly distributing it across the pumpkin. And then I'm going to put that on there. And then I'm going to, since there's no direction that really matters, I'm just going to plop it on there. Add some pressure to it. And then typically you want to add some pressure to it. So I'm going to put my mug that we'll be crafting with here in a little bit on top of that. And then let's go ahead and add the second pumpkin. Let's see here. All right, there we go. Turn it around. Now, some people will cut around it, but I like the sanding look because I think it gives it more that rustic look to it. So I'm going to sand my pumpkins, and actually I'm going to let this set a little bit, so I'm going to put that over there, and I will weed out my design here. Okay, so let me try to find the correct orientation. Now I did have to think I have it. Yeah, I have it upside down. I did have to, I didn't have to, but I chose to do that. Actually, let me take a look here. Yes, I'm going the wrong way. I did choose to, because there's going to be text that's going at the bottom of the frame and at the top, and I just chose to detach them just to save vinyl. I mean, you could have just left it as is, but I wanted to save my vinyl as much as I can. So I'm just being very careful. It looks like the smaller text might want to come up as I'm trying to weed, so we're going to be very careful that it doesn't. Usually when the text comes up when you're weeding, it usually means you need to get a new blade, and it's probably that is the reason for my issue. I tend to wear out my blades and then get mad that it's not weeding up correctly, and then finally, once I get frustrated enough, I will then switch my blade. So it looks like we're having some slight issues. So I'll have to come back and fix that Y. Now, another recommendation when you're dealing with small text is to weed out the middles first and then weed the rest. That usually helps with weeding the middles, because when you get small text, then you don't have the surrounding vinyl to help hold the rest down. So that's why they do suggest to weed out the middles, but I'm hoping that this in particular, this text is not that small where I feel like it was necessary for me to do that. So that's why I opted not to do that. All right, so far everything's coming out okay, but we're not out of the woods just yet. Let me know in the comment section if you like to watch people weed. I know some of my favorite YouTubers, I love to watch the weed. I don't know, for some reason, I just like, I try not to look at their thumbnails because I like to see what it is. I'm like, I try to guess to see what it's going to look like as they're creating the project. So that's why I like to watch them weed, just to see it coming together. So some people, I don't know, some may not like it. So just let me know in the comment section if you like the weeding process in the videos. And it looks like I'm losing my dot to my eye, and that's okay. We'll add that back in there. Looks like this is not going to stick. I'm just going to put it right there for now, and I'll come back and work on that. Sometimes it's just better just to leave it where it's at. And now, what if you have an issue on all over your design, sometimes it's just better to like cut it and then weed sections at a time. That's also something that you can do, but and also another thing is having your design in front of you will also help, because I'm trying to remember what this was saying so I can kind of have an idea like where, like what the next text or what the next letter is going to be, and that really helps to know like where I need to put my weeding tool at. So unfortunately I don't have my computer up, and so it's not going to really help me in that situation. So it says pick your own pumpkin patch, and then something daily and locally grown. And since my last name is Daily, I thought about maybe just actually, oh, now that I know why that was not saying, I thought about manipulating the daily and just put it D-A-L-Y since that's my last name. And but I just didn't have time to edit this SVG. I do have this SVG linked at the bottom so you can get this yourself. I did have, they had some pumpkins, and at the bottom of it, oh, this is open daily, and I decided to use real pumpkins because actually the creator of this SVG, that's what she did with hers, and I just thought that was such a cute idea, and I thought, well, why not make it my own and do that as well. So that's what I'm doing. In fact, I think she even used the same frame that I'm using, but which is kind of ironic because I had it in my stash for quite some time. Now, before you crinkle this up, you typically want to look at your SVG first, or your part that you weeded out, to make sure that there's no like letter missing or a dot to your eye or something to that effect, which I think I'm fine. So I can go ahead and crinkle that up, because I can't tell you how many times I crinkled it up and then realized, oh, there was something that's missing, and I had to uncrinkle it, and it was too late, and then I had to recut it. So definitely want to look at your design first before you roll up your weeded vinyl. So we're just going to go ahead and it says pick your own pumpkin patch, open daily and locally grown. Speaking of weeding, who currently uses their Cricut, who likes to weed? Oh no. I love to weed when it's not being a pain in you know what. Oh, this did not cut good. Okay, so I just ripped my E, but see, and this is what I'm thinking. Well, the thing of it is, this was also the vinyl was damaged when I was trying to get it out of the little container here, and I think that's why this did not cut really well, and I'm having these issues because it was already kind of crinkled from the very beginning. I don't know why they put these glossy vinyl in particular. Now, matte vinyl is not a big deal, but because it doesn't have a lot of static to it. But why they would put glossy vinyl in a plastic tube is beyond me. You know what, it's just gonna have to do. So it's hard to get those things out. So, oh goodness. So if anyone knows a good trick of getting the vinyl out of the plastic tube when you're dealing with glossy, let me know, because I struggle with it, and I actually am new to glossy. I did not use glossy vinyl for a long time because I never really particularly liked the look, but now that's kind of changing. Not everything needs to have glossy vinyl, so I still use a lot of matte, but I'm finding myself being more attracted to glossy vinyl. So let me know what type of vinyl that you like to use for your projects. And I think just gotta figure out if this vinyl is on top or there we go. So that's all right, we can mend that. So I think I'm gonna have to, it's kind of wonky. Well, I think the little Y got stretched out a little bit on the, because I'm looking at this other Y and they're a little bit closer together. So it's gonna be fine. Again, no, we don't do perfection. All right, so we got that done. And let's go ahead and apply some transfer tape, and then we can go ahead and apply this to our frame. I'm gonna cut out what I need. All right. Roll that back up. And then I like to use painter's tape because it's low tack. All right, and then I'll cut off. See how much I need. Right there, that's good. So we'll use this later. Okay, move that to the side. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and move my mouse out of the way. So I'm only gonna expose about an inch, inch and a half. And then I'm gonna apply the transfer tape like so. Perfect. I'm going to use my scraper tool to scrape the front and to scrape the back. Now we can save this later to reapply our transfer tape, so don't get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to scrape this one more time actually on the back. And then I think what I'll do is I'm going to cut this apart. I'm actually quite impressed. I'm sorry, when I was cutting this, I realized, oh, I actually got this somewhat straight. Normally, I'm terrible about applying my transfer tape straight, and then it really messes with my eye. So, I actually did pretty good. All right, I'm going to put the 2 vinyls down, and then we're going to do our pumpkins next, because I need to know placement-wise where this is going to go. If I get my sander here. So what I'm going to do is I have this sanding block, and I'm just going to sand away from it. And you can see it's starting to come off. So that took way longer than I anticipated, and I actually had some lifting in some areas, which it's not a big deal, because then what I'm going to do is I'll add the Mod Podge, because it's actually a sealer as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add it to my pumpkins. So I think I'm going to use this one for reference. Yeah, I think that should be good. Oh, see, I'm having lifting there. So I think what I'm going to have to do is apply a little bit of Mod Podge to fix that. With it. Just want to be careful and make sure that all my dots and my I guess these 3 dots here are still here. So pick your own pumpkin patch. Looks good. Nothing's on there. Now at this point you can add your transfer tape. In fact, and also you want to make sure that you look to see where your hanger's at. This is supposed to be hung portrait style. However, I'm actually not going to, I'm going to have it leaning up against the wall. I'm not going to hang it. So that is why I didn't care, you know, where that hanger part is. Now, what you do want to pay attention to is, like, what do you want to be your top? Do you want this to be your top? Do you want this to be your top? So that is something that you're going to have to be mindful. So I think I shouldn't have to, go ahead and move this down. I shouldn't have to add transfer tape. I'm sorry, not transfer tape, but what am I trying to think of? Parchment paper. Wow, that word's escaped me. And because this is pretty small. In fact, I know, no, that's not straight. I was thinking the top is straight, but it is definitely not. So, and I'm talking about the transfer tape. I was thinking this was a straight edge, but it's not. So I guess I can't use that to help align things. But what I can do is make sure that it is, you know what? I'm going to use parchment paper. All right. I just don't trust myself. And why not, right? Why not use it? So, I think needs to go over just a smidge. So, I was trying to center this, and I think, and I kept on going back and forth, I'm like, why is this not getting centered? And I was using the straight edge of each of the letter to the edge of the frame, and I just could not get it. I would move it over, I'm like, this is off center, way off center, then I move it back. And what happened is, I think this SVG is not centered. I think that's what had happened. So when you get this SVG, center it, because look how, like, it says pick your own, the 3 dots end about there, and then the 3 dots here end about the center of the P. So this is definitely, unless I'm missing something, this actually needs to get scooched a little bit over, in order to, because I was trying to eye this up as well. So I am just going to go with this, and if it's not centered, then it's not centered. I was working on it for about 5-10 minutes, and I tried my best. So there we go. Now, I didn't paint this board here, so I don't know how this is going to react. So you want to be careful about taking up or picking up your transfer tape, and it looks like we're having a little bit of a hard time. Let me go ahead and scrape it down more. I was really trying to not put a lot of pressure when burnishing this down, only because I don't want to scratch it. But, and I think also I should have cleaned this, because this has been in my craft room for, well, my craft stash for like 6 months. So let me just use that to I'll push that down. All right. You know, I gotta be honest, I don't think I'm a big fan of Decal 651. I think that's what it is. I have been having issues left and right, and I just never had this issue with Paper Studio. But unfortunately, I have a lot of this because a lot of people were saying that this is such a good brand to get, so I got it. I think I'm gonna have to work on this a little bit at a time here. Okay, so that took a lot of patience to apply. Wow. And then once it's on there, it's on there. So I'm not going to reuse this. This is pretty well losing its tack. So I'm going to throw this away, so I don't need that anymore. And I think this turned out pretty good as far as centering. It might be, well, maybe, let's see, hold it up real quick. Looks like I have a bubble. I'm actually, and I appreciate you guys' patience, we are getting new lighting for my craft room. So the lighting in my videos are going to be so much better. Not in this video, obviously, or the next. Maybe in a week or so, I'm going to get new lighting. So I am so excited about that. That way you guys can see this a lot better than how it is right now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'll add this. Yeah, I'll add that last. And then I want to decide, oh no. You guys ever look at a project and you're like, oh, this is going to be an easy project. It's going to be cute. I'm so excited. And then it turned out to be the biggest pain that you have ever known. And you're like, what just happened? Why did that happen? Well, that is this project for me. I thought this was going to turn out super cute. And it is proving to be, or super easy. And it's proving to just be a project that I am looking forward to being done with. All right, let's go ahead and get some glue for this, and then we'll apply that, and then we'll apply our vinyl and be done. First of all, we want to get this centered. And I think because I was trying to center this, not so much that, I'm going to try to find center here. So it's about 9 inches. So 4.5 is going to be, sorry, I got glue on my hands. So 9 inches, is, or 4.5 inches is going to be center. So we're actually almost centered. I'm going to center the pumpkin, not the stem, because the stem is a little off. I'm going to scooch this up a little bit, and there's center. Okay, so what I'll do is, I will add my Fabri-Tac glue. I love this stuff. It is a great alternative to hot glue. So I'm going to apply some glue. And it is kind of stringy like hot glue, in fact. All right, that's plenty. And it has a little bit of a strong scent to it, so just be mindful of that. And then I'm going to try to about roughly add. I'm not going to be that concerned if it's not straight or if it's not completely centered. I think that should be good to go, because, and it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. So this is 4.5, 3.5, it's the 3.5, so that's about 1.75. So yeah, I'm pretty straight on. Okay, so I'm gonna let that set up just for a second, and then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to decide. Well, first of all, I have these foam squares, and I was thinking I was going to add them for support, but I'm not sure if it's going to, and do I want it like this? No, I'm liking this way. I don't know why. I don't know if that will be enough thickness, and do I want to curve it? You guys, I wish I was live so you can tell me what you guys think. You're probably screaming at me like, no, do it this way, and I'm just not hearing it. Do I want to do it like that? No. And I want to maybe bring it down a little bit, right? I'm thinking, I kind of like that. Will it go down like that? Probably not. So, I'm going to see if this is going to be too thick for it. No, I think it's, oh, it's going to be perfect. Okay. All right, so I'm going to push that out. And I think I will, again, I'm thinking I'm overthinking this, but I'm just going to make a slight, so I have an idea. You guys probably can't even see it, but this is going to give me an idea of where I need to keep my glue in. Okay, the boundary. And then I am going to apply this foam square here. I'm going to do it this side. Okay. And then I'm going to find that little marking that I did. I'm going to go over just ever so slightly. And I think I'm going to, ooh, scared me. Push that down. All right. So I'll add a foam square to here. And then I will get my Fabri-Tac glue and make sure that I stay within that area that I kind of marked. And you don't need a whole lot. It will stick pretty good. All right, don't need that anymore. Y'all, I'm so excited. This is almost done. And then I'll take that off and plop that right there. It's going to live right there because it's has no other choice. All right, what do you guys think? Okay, so let's go ahead and add the final touch, and then we can, well, I can get excited that this one is done. I can't believe this one was just not behaving well. All right, so I'll go ahead and first trim this down, and then I'm gonna trim this. All right, move this aside. We don't need that anymore. And let's go ahead and remove the carrier sheets. This part is the easiest part. Don't need that anymore. And then let's go ahead and add the last part. And we will hope that it stays center. Y'all, this was a true test to my patience, and if anyone knows me, I don't have a lot of it, and this really put me through the ringer. Again, this looks like such an easy project, but it had its, I mean, and maybe it's just because I didn't dust this off well enough. It could be that. It could have been the vinyl. I don't know. Who knows? It's just, or just, maybe it's just not the night for me to be crafting. Because we have this like Cricut E, but the only reason why, and I would fix this, but the reason why I'm not fixing it is because it's ripped, and if I were to try to fix it, then I'm contending with two parts of the E, and I'm just not willing to deal with that. And then of course the Y got a little crazy, but I think that if I wouldn't point that out and you weren't sitting there watching me make those mistakes, I don't think anyone really would have picked it up unless you're looking at it pretty closely. I mean, maybe that E, I don't know. Who knows? But I think this turned out super cute. Was it worth it? Yes, it was. I really love this. And honestly, this frame I was not a big fan of, but I have a problem. I am a Hobby Lobby clearance addict. I love buying Hobby Lobby clearance stuff, like stuff like this. So I was like, oh, $3.24 it was originally $13. What a great deal. And I will probably never use it because I didn't really know how I wanted to contend with these areas of paint, these splotches of paint. But I think that now that I added this, I honestly think I just absolutely love it. This is probably going to be my favorite one, although I do have a lot on my table for fall. So who knows? This is a really good contender. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next craft project. Our next two projects are mugs, and these mugs are actually going to be set up for my faux foods video, which will be coming up. I haven't recorded it, obviously, but I will be recording it here soon, and I will be posting it. And so these are only meant for faux foods, but I do want to say, if you are going to do this for drinking coffee, hot chocolate, or whatever the case is, you want to make sure that you apply the vinyl and give yourself enough room for your lips to go on here in order to drink your whatever you're drinking. And also just keep in mind, vinyl is not food safe, nor is it microwave safe. And also you don't want to put it in the dishwasher. So throwing that disclaimer out there, but I'm not using it for my faux food, or not using it to actually drink out of. I'm using it for faux food purposes. What's great about this is I'm using removable vinyl. I think I am actually. No, I actually am not, but it will still come off pretty good because I can always take off the topper and then apply some Christmas decal. So these mugs never go to waste because you can just pop the lid off and then add a new one for Christmas or whatever the season is. So without further ado, I'm going to use my cup cradle here, and I'm going to go ahead and weed this out. Now, I live in the South, and it's interesting. I'm from the Midwest, and it's interesting that no one down here knows what sweater weather is. And I'm like, how do you guys not know it? But now I understand that they don't know what that is. And that's sad because sweater weather is the best weather. When I actually really like our winters. I don't miss the snow anymore. I really don't. As a kid, yes, I love snow because of snow days, but we get hurricane days. And which is not good, but we live in an area where we get the threat, but we really don't get it that bad because of the location of where we live. But I mean, this last hurricane season, we had 2 or 3 days off, and let me tell you, it only sprinkled once. But you know, better safe than sorry, right? But anyways, I love our winters down here because you don't have to worry about the snow. You get the cool weather, but it's not cold enough where it's constantly dreary and snowing all the time. And, you know, your pants don't get wet, your shoes don't get wet. So it is just a nice time down here during the winter time. Now, of course, some people will disagree and say they love snow, and that's fine. We all can agree to disagree, but I don't know. It just no longer has a special moment for me anymore, just because before I moved down here, we had so many green Christmases, so the only reason why I wanted to snow is for Christmas, and then it didn't snow a whole lot, so now I don't really care. All right, before we apply, let's go ahead and apply our transfer tape. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and apply some rubbing alcohol to clean off the surface of our cup. Now, you know, obviously, if you're using this to actually drink out of, then you're going to want to pay attention to what side of the mug you want it on this side. So if you're right-handed, do you want people to see your decal, or do you want to see your decal? Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I will apply my transfer tape to my decal. I don't need all of it, so I'm going to only cut out what I need. I'm going to switch to the back. In the comment section, why don't you tell me your favorite time of year? I will admit we don't get much of a fall down here. Our fall maybe is like a week long in November, and then it's like, I don't know, just cold. It doesn't feel fall. The palm trees turn brown, so there's our fall colors. We do have some fall leaves, or some trees that does change color, but it's not as prominent and beautiful as it is up from where I was from. So let's go ahead and apply. Now, you may want to add relief cuts around your decal, just so that way it takes on the curve of your mug, but I think I should be okay. And you know, if it's not, we'll remedy the issue. So I'm going to try to get it centered as possible and straight as possible. So I'm going to hold that up, and I think I'm a little off, but I'll take it. All right, so just scraping that down, and then go ahead and peel. Oh my goodness, this vinyl does not want to stick. It's the same vinyl I used in the pumpkin patch, and it just does not want to stick down to anything. There we go. Now, if you guys don't have a cup cradle, you can most certainly, if you have a burnishing tool like this one, you can put it on there and it will work just fine. Well, call me a liar. It works better than not having something, but I bought this off of Amazon. I just Googled, or Amazon's cup cradle, and found this one. And this cup is from the Dollar Tree, so it was only $1.25, and I think that this vinyl decal just elevates the cup, and it looks more like a $1.50 cup, not a $1.25 cup. But again, this is going to be part one of this cup, because in the next video that I will be posting on my channel, and it's going to be a mug topper of faux foods. And I'm really excited about that because I'm going to do something a little bit different than I had in the past. So stay tuned for that. Now let's go ahead and bring in the next cup. Really thought this is super cute. Again, this is from Dollar Tree, so we're about to elevate it from $1.25 to maybe $1.75, question mark. So again, I'm just applying some rubbing alcohol to my cup here. And, but yeah, going back to that question about what's your favorite season, mine is definitely fall. But now down here, it has to be winter because I like our winter. Fall is just, it's just more summer. Now this one I think is going to be a little difficult to weed because it's small and it's more of a script font. So I think because we've been having some issues with this one, in fact, I think what I'll do is I will weed out my middles here because I think that really helps when you have a small font to weed out the middle, as I kind of discussed earlier. And I'm going to kind of rip that apart because I don't need that. Making sure that my dots come with it. I definitely missed a lot of middles, but this was really hard to see. Again, I have poor lighting in here, so it does not help that, ooh, that the, I can't really see that well. All right, that actually weeded it out pretty good. I will admit. I thought this was going to be a bigger pain than it was, but it did not. So it was not, I should say. So I'm just going to fix this E. There we go. I'm just using my weeding tool to fix that. And then I'm going to try to get out the middles that I missed. And then we'll get this last part here. And being very gentle with it because the vinyl there is pretty narrow. And it came out fine. Wow, this was way easier than I thought it was going to go. Okay, let's go ahead and use that same transfer tape that I used for the other one. And then we'll go ahead and burnish this front and back. And let's see here. I think hold this up. No, I need to go up a little bit. Oh. Well, happy accident. All right, let's go ahead and try that again. And I almost feel like I could have used a bigger font for this. Okay. Because I feel like that's kind of small. But I was worried about this part that curves up and this part curves down. So really it is kind of tight. I mean, it fits in there perfectly, but we'll deal with it. I mean, I'm not cutting it out, and we will accept what is. And there we go. It just says pumpkin spice. So I think that turned out really nice. And again, stay tuned because we're going to make a mug topper for this one and for these two. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next craft. I found this cute little acorn last year at Hobby Lobby. I haven't had a chance to look to see if they still have it, but I'm sure they have some version of it or the same thing. It was back in 2022 and I paid probably half that, so only $2. And it came in this natural wood color. And of course it has this twine here, which I'm going to leave it the way it is. And then what I did was I painted the acorn this linen color, and I have it in the description box of which one I use. But then this top of the Acorn, I actually use this like metallic rub. It's like a espresso color, and again I linked that and I didn't link it, but I both of these paints are from Hobby Lobby, and I just rubbed this, and I purposely did not get in some of the crevices just because I thought this gave more of a dimensional look and gave it more of a realistic look. What do you guys think? Do you think I should have covered it completely or left it the way it is? I personally think that it looks super cute the way it is, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section. So I just have I think what I put is Gather on this, so it's going to be a Thanksgiving decor, and I thought it's a little different than, and I apologize, I use Cricut vinyl, and Cricut vinyl unfortunately does not put a blue backer with white vinyl, so I apologize that you guys can't quite see the text, but it just says Gather, and I have the font in the description box. I think I purchased this one. I don't think this is a design. I hardly ever use Design Space fonts. I really don't like most of it. So, but anyways, I think all of my fonts, if they're not in Design Space, they're all purchased through design bundles or font bundles, which is it's the same thing. They're from the same company. In fact, if you like type in fonts, they'll take you to font bundles on their website. So, and I just thought it'd be cute just to put Gather. I didn't want to add too much to this just because I didn't want to take away from the Acorn itself. So I'm just going to put Gather on there, and let's go ahead and add some transfer tape. All right, I cut out my transfer tape, so I'm going to push this to the side, and then I'm going to peel this back, exposing a little bit, about 1 inch or 1.5 inches. Now, you most certainly could have used, you know me, I like to use iron-on when it comes to wood, but I painted this today, and usually when you do iron-on, you should let it set for 24 to 48 hours. So because I did that, I did not want to iron it on. I'm going to be careful. I don't think I got quite up there pretty good, but that's all right. So again, I loved iron-on wood. It just makes it look like it's been painted, in my opinion. Now, of course, if you use like a pattern, then maybe it wouldn't, right? But if I had a choice, I would do iron-on. All right, now I'm a little bit worried about how it's going to come off, and it looks like it's coming off pretty good, just because I have a lot of old vinyl that I got to work through, and vinyl does have an expiration date, believe it or not. So, and this is also, I should have sanded this down a little bit, and actually what I really should have done is maybe sanded the sides just to give it more of a distressed look. But again, I don't know. I just thought that might be too much. Let me know in the comment section if you would have sanded around the Acorn. Now, I don't know if I want to like justify, or should I just do the center? I'm going to actually turn it upside down and try to get an idea. And I could apply the parchment paper and move it around, but parchment paper, it's so hard to see. So I think I'll just do the center. I don't know. I was thinking, no, it wouldn't work right. I was thinking about putting it down lower, but I just don't think that would look quite the way it should. So I'm going to try to get this straight and center. And I really like the white paired with the brown. It's really popping, in my opinion. So again, I'm just I don't want to push too much down. I'm going to pull it up here and see how that looks. And I think that looks really good. So now I'm going to push the vinyl down, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my scraper tool. Be careful I don't get that, because I don't want to scrape that up. But I do want to burnish it down a little bit, right? So that way I don't peel up. This is, again, this is Cricut's brand. So hopefully we'll have a better luck than I've been having with Oracle. Yep, it's doing really, really well. Usually when it's a little bit rough, it does not go down nicely, or stay down nicely, I should say. And that is it. I actually have some acorns that I was thinking about adding to it, like kind of hanging, but I don't know. You'll see in the thumbnail if I did or not. Right now, I think I'm going to leave it as is because I think this is just cute the way it is. Let me know if you think I should add some, maybe a ribbon wrapped around it. I think this is just perfect the way it is. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next project. In this project, we're going to do a tier tray sign. In fact, I have, let's see here, 4 more to do, but we're only going to do 1 in this video, and we'll do the other 4 in a separate video. And I do them every season. No, every holiday. And this is actually, there was like some type of design, and if you guys know me and been watching my channel, you'll know that I'll buy stuff like this that already has something on there, and then I just apply craft board or cardstock, cut it down to size, and then put it in my design. So I had probably already have, I don't know, 3 other cardstocks in there, and so eventually it's going to get too thick, right? So I won't be able to do it anymore. And I most certainly can find a way that this is not so permanent. I can definitely rip it apart, which is what I think I might end up doing. Or honestly, I might end up just buying, by the time this gets to be too thick, springtime will go on clearance, because these were all spring. In fact, actually the fall Decor in Hobby Lobby has these frames, so I'll end up, once it goes to clearance or 66% off or even 75% off, I will just go ahead and purchase some more. And then now I most certainly can just be one and done, right? But I don't know, these are so cheap. I mean, literally I paid like $1 for this frame, maybe a little bit more, I don't know, maybe $2. But so that is what I will, that's what I like to do. And I think in order to make this a little bit less, what I did was I would put double-sided tape around the whole thing, but I think instead what I'll do is I'll just put one big line across this. And I did this one, I don't think I had my channel at this point when I did this, this particular design, but I have the SVG, I can always redo it. And the reason why I'm putting it in here first is it helps me center my design. So, and then now you can't even see it, and it's done, and it kind of looks like it's been painted on there. It maybe not, but I don't think anyone's going to look that closely and say, hey, that's not painted. So we'll be okay. And I think from now on, I'll just do 1 stripe. And the reason why I was doing around the perimeter with the double-sided tape is because when I apply this and try to peel the transfer tape back, I think I might end up peeling the cardstock back, or the craft board. I can't remember which one I used, but we will see. So I have this scrap in my stash here, this particular vinyl, and it's, I'm not even sure, it's like a metallic type vinyl, and I'm trying to look to see, are they attached? They are not attached. So I need to try to think the approach I want to make with this. I was hoping this would not all come up, but I think I'll just have to work on it piece by piece and then go from there. I decided to choose happiness and get rid of these little inside little leaves, because there was just going to be no way that I was going to be able to get that up without spending hours that I just don't have. So I just decided you know what? If you guys didn't see it before I started weeding it, you would have never known it was on there unless you actually bought the SVG for it. Or not. I don't think this was... I can't remember if I got this on Design Space or Design Bundles. But, and then of course there's some areas that just didn't want to work with me. But I think that even though it still wasn't the design I got or I wanted to have, it still works, right? So we are just going to go ahead and go with this design. And I'm going to apply some, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And I'm hoping this will be big enough. It is not, but I can fix that issue by cutting this off and making sure that that does not get on there and putting that on there like so. Okay, let's go ahead and burnish it really well because we definitely do not want this to be an issue trying to lift it off onto the transfer tape and applying it to our cardstock. Okay, here's hoping. I have a feeling it may not work nicely. It may not play nicely, but we will... Oh, maybe. Okay, that's miracle number 1. And miracle number 2 is applying it to our little tier tray sign and trying to get this centered, of course. Let's see, let's try to find center there and here. Again, I'm just trying to get this centered in both ways. Let me pull this up. Oh, I don't think I got it that good. Oh, that was a close call, y'all. Close call. Let's try that again. Again, I'm just looking at it and making sure. I think that's good. Okay, you want to burnish it down pretty good. All right. So let's go ahead and get this transfer tape to come up with the vinyl. Stay down. All right, well, that part, easy. Next part. I think miracle number 2 is going to go pretty smoothly. So honestly, even though it had those leaves there, I still think it turned out just fine. Now, if you want to play around with it, by all means. I think I missed one there, but I think honestly it looks good. It looks like I gotta smooth that down. So I like it. It turned out really nicely, and it's just going to sit up like that in on my tier tray. And then, like I said, I have 4 more to do, but not in this video. We'll do that in a separate video. Just that video alone, we'll do 4 more. And I promise I'm not going to make it as difficult as this one was. I didn't think it was going to be that difficult because when I was weeding it out before I started this video, just to ensure that this was going to weed just fine. It was coming out just fine. So I guess that little small areas did not want to work well. But all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next craft.